Hello, my lovely ladies, and welcome back to Menopause Made Easy with Tanya. That was a hard one to get out today. The place where we take the mystery out of midlife and bring clarity, calm, and confidence back to your body, your mind, and your spirit. And it's nearing the end of September. We've shifted out of summer. The days are getting a little chillier. I'm taping this in July, so I know what's coming. And our light is going to change. And that's what we're popping in here today. So, in the summer, you probably spent more time outside. Mind you, it was a smoking hot summer this year, but still important to get outside. The days are getting a little shorter here. And I really want to talk about sunlight versus blue light and what your body is really craving. All right. And so we're going to shine a light. Yes, we are, quite literally, on something we are all exposed to every single day. And as I just mentioned, this is sunlight versus blue light and how these powerful forms of light affect our energy every single day. Something I can tell you I never thought about 5 years ago. Never thought about it. And now, wow, it's fascinating, and that's why I want to share this with you today. So, blue light and sunlight can affect our energy, our hormones, our vision, and our overall vitality. Okay. And I know many of you have heard this, and you say it to me, and I have been a sun lover my entire life. So I have not ever feared the sun, ever. You need to learn how to use it smartly, which I'm going to share with you today. But I will tell you, I have never known how, let's just say, I don't want to use that word, how indoor light can negatively impact um, our health. So I want to compare and talk about these two today. Okay. So, but you may have heard the sun is dangerous, but what if we've been told to fear the wrong kind of light? So we're going to break this down. Let's rewind in time, ladies. All right. So historically, sunlight was considered medicine. Yes, it was. Sunlight used correctly is medicine. Cultures from Greece to Egypt, all over to India, all used sunlight therapeutically. It was considered, or it was called heliotherapy. Heliotherapy, and doctors prescribed sun exposure for everything from tuberculosis to mood disorders. Okay, why? Because the sun gives us vitamin D as a hormone. Vitamin D synthesizes, so there's certain times during the day that there is UVB rays present, and that is the time that you get your vitamin D exposure. And depending on where you live, this will change. And then there's some parts of the world where it completely disappears. All right. So there's an app I've been using called My Circadian app, and Sarah Kleiner created it, and she is one of my inspirations for all of the information I have learned about light. Sun affects our circadian rhythm regulation. Remember, every cell in our body has that tick, 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 tick clock. Melatonin production. Melatonin helps us sleepy, sleepy. And it even boosts serotonin, which is our yay, feel good mood. So, my goodness. And listen, honestly, just instinctually, intuitively, don't you know that when the sun is shining, you feel more energetic, you feel happier, you feel more vibrant. And then on a cloudy day, you just kind of contract a little bit. That's the power of the sun. And our mitochondria, remember the energy powerhouses of every single cell in our body, literally respond to the infrared spectrum of sunlight to heal, repair, and energize. So, how did we go from worshiping our beautiful sun to fearing it. Media. Yeah, okay. All right, on to the next part. The demonization of the sun. The turning point came in the 20th century with the rise of skin cancer rates and the surge of SPF marketing. And if you know me, you know how I feel about this for decades, decades and decades. I have not been a sunscreen person. I believe in using the sun smartly instead of putting chemical laden products smothered all over your skin. And so you need to be very careful about the skincare products that you are buying for the sun and instead learn how to use the sun smartly. Now, I'm not going to go into all the nuances, and maybe it's a beach day and maybe you're on a boat and you do whatever you need to do, okay? But what I am saying is on your regular everyday, when you're in and around your house, going outside and getting some sunshine without slathering on sunscreen is, not something I practice. Okay. So you would have these media headlines warning us, stay out of the sun, right? And dermatologists handed out sunscreens like candy. And we were told that every wrinkle and every freckle was the enemy. Oh my God, I am covered in freckles. And yes, I have had a poor sun habit at various times in my life because when you don't know, you don't know, right? But when you know better, you do better. Now I do better. Okay, so I am not saying we should fry ourselves like bacon and put lemon juice in our hair and Vaseline and baby oil on our skin and sit under tinfoil on the hottest day of the year at noon. That is not what I am saying. Okay, but completely avoiding the sun has some very unintended consequences, and we have become sunlight deficient humans. Yes, we have. And in place of that healing sunlight, we have flooded our lives with another kind of light, which is blue light, this LED light, this overhead light, this constant light. And you know what? I don't know where I am in my episodes with light. But and I fell for this, totally fell for this, because when you're uneducated and not properly informed, you do tend to follow the masses. And I kick myself because I should have asked more questions when it was happening. And I am much more of the person that tends to not be like at the beginning of a trend. I like to sit back and see what happens. But in this case, sometimes the selling features of certain things get you before you take action before you really understand what is happening. This will all make sense in a minute. But this is when the incandescent light bulb, remember we were all told to replace it to become more energy efficient and put LED lights in. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stay on track here and I'm going to wrap around to that or save it for another episode. So this rise of blue light. And so you're like, what is blue light? Like, what's the difference between the incandescent bulb that was here a mere 10 years ago? And now we're like inundated with these blue headlights and these blue lights. Okay, what are they? It's a high energy visible light emitted by phones, laptops, LED lights, TVs, fluorescent bulbs, and even that fridge light that is staring at your face in midnight if you are a midnight snacker. Okay, and blue light isn't inherently bad. Remember, like sun's not bad. It's good if you use it properly. Blue light is not bad unless you know how to use it properly. Okay, so we actually get blue natural light from sun in the morning and it helps to wake us up. So I'm not saying it's not all or nothing. Okay, we got to get rid of the all or nothing and we got to find the happy medium. Okay, but here's the problem is that we're bathing in this blue light all day, all night. And now that we are shifting out of summer and it's getting a little cooler outside, we might not be outside as much. we are coming inside. So I really want you to start to think about this to see how you can play with your fall and winter light routine. And blue light at the wrong time of day. Okay, Tanya, take a breath. I know you're, see, I'm very excitable. I'm trying not to be so excitable, but that's just my personality. Okay, blue light at the wrong time of day messes with melatonin production, which can lead to poor sleep, circadian rhythms, which mess with your hormones and your metabolism, eye health, which is why I'm teaching these improve your eye classes naturally. Okay, so eye health, like dry eyes, blurry vision, eye strain, mitochondrial function. Okay, gosh, see how often these mitochondria pop in here. Skin aging and inflammation. And unlike sunlight, blue light gives us no infrared healing rays at all. It's a very unbalanced light and it's unrelenting. So the sun has all different spectrums depending on what time of the day you are outside. Okay, I'm not going to get into that today. Blue light sitting under these blue lights is just is too much. And I don't know about you guys, but I have become very light sensitive, especially at night. My husband and I are having a bit of a head to head here because he's like, "Why are we living in the dark?" And I'm like, "We're not living in the dark." And then he'll turn on a light brighter and anyway, that's another whole story. So we're finding our relationship with light in the evenings. Okay, but so why does this matter in midlife? Okay, how can we connect this back to menopause? Because this whole podcast and everything I share with you, even though you might be like, how does this honestly relate to menopause? We want to make menopause easier. We want to make this journey easier. We're here for a third to half of our life. Okay, and as women, we're already navigating shifts in our sleep, our energy, our moods, our weight, our cognitive clarity. And guess what? Light plays a direct role in every one of these areas. So I think it's 200A, the one of the bonus episodes I did this summer, where I'm talking about the light in our food and how the sun puts the light, say, in a cucumber in August, and then we receive that light through the food that we're eating, as opposed to if we eat bananas in January. It's a really fascinating episode. So I would highly recommend listening to that. So light is playing a direct role, right, in all the areas that I just mentioned above: sleep, energy, weight, mood, cognitive clarity. Okay. And we might not even know it, right? And so if we are not getting enough sunlight and getting blasted with screens at night and maybe LED lights from sitting inside all day long, our bodies get confused, just like eating out of season. Again, these are subtle, but very powerful. Okay, and when you begin to really become aware of them, it's really interesting what you can start to do. And your hormones don't know what time it is. Your cortisol stays high, your melatonin stays low, and your body just can't get into that deep rest, repair, or ding, 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 fat burning mode, which is what so many people come to me about. All right. So, it's not your willpower, it's your biology. And we are at an evolutionary mismatch to our biology. So, what are some practical strategies that you can do today? All right. So, we're not going to move into a cave and, take our life outside and give up technology. But what can we do to create a light hygiene routine? And I'm going to have a handout. For those of you that are on my email list, you will get this. I'm going to include a checklist for light hygiene for midlife vitality. So if you want that, you will get it in my email. If you would like it and you're not on my email list, then please send me an email and just say, checklist, please, for light, and I will send it to you. All right, so you don't need to write all these down. I will send them to you. here are about seven powerful and simple tips that you can use. I've said this a gazillion times, but in the morning, get up, get outside, brush your teeth, go out without sunglasses, take your toothbrush. I take my toothbrush, I take my face brush. Sometimes I do a little rolling underneath my feet. It's still warm enough. Obviously, this is going to change when there's snow on the ground, but we will talk about that at another time. So go outside without your glasses, without contact lenses. Let that natural light hit your eyes and your skin for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And this anchors your circadian rhythm for the day. It tells all those little cells what time it is. Please do not look at your phone until after you have done that. Okay? Okay. Swap out bright white lights for warm light in the evening. So I have gone around, look, I even have a box of light bulbs here. I've gone around and I've started to change out these LED lights, which are blinding to me. And I have put in soft red bulbs for evening light. So where I read, I have different ones. You can go and find your own. If you're in my Midlife Reboot program, I tell you where to get all this stuff, but you guys can do the research and just use some amber, some red, some salt lights at night, make it cozy and more firelit instead of like blasting light. If you can use some blue light blocking sunglasses after sunset, that would be great. There's all different kinds. There's all different, like everything, you pay for what you get, do your research, get some good brands that you like. Do the research on those, okay? So they're not just trendy, they're effective, and you want to look for ones that block 400 to 550 mm. I don't know what that stands for. It's just escaped my mind, of light, okay? And so those be helpful when you're looking at your screens. I would advise turning your screen off at least 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime, or at least use an app where on my phone it makes everything black and white kind of. There's no more bright colors. So I know some people put red on there, some people, I can't remember what it's called on my phone, or you could wear some night glasses. All right, just to help with that blue light. And that might be one really powerful shift that'll help with your sleep and your hormones. All right, and then we want to learn how to embrace sun exposure during safe windows. So if you aim for 10 to 20 minutes of midday sun without sunscreen, especially on your forearms and legs, and I even recommend your belly, and I've heard about your armpits. Okay, get the sun in there. You can help to gradually build up your tolerance. In the springtime, when the sun is weaker, if you can get out and start feeling that sun on your skin, that really helps prevent burns and just softens your skin and your whole system up to not being so, what's the word I'm looking for? Dependent on sunscreen. Again, you guys know, go check out your skin type. You listen to gradually shift, but just start to get some morning sunlight, some evening sunlight, and just pop in and out of the sun during the day, a little bit here, a little bit there, and build up your tolerance. And ground yourself outside. So again, this is going to get harder once the snow hits the ground, but if you can get your feet on the ground or touch your hand to a tree, sit on the grass. I could, pick up the book Earthing. I can't think of his name right now. It's in my bookcase right over there. But your cells love the combination of sunlight and the Earth's electrons, which are very healing. You can look up grounding and find out more about that. And then I have lots of different red lights. I have a red light panel. Whoops, I'm going to stick it on. It just came off. I have a red light panel underneath my desk that my legs get a lot of red light. I have a red light mat. I have an infrared sauna. I have a device from Living Libations. You can look it up in the show notes under my favorite products. I do red light in my ears, my nose, my what are these things called? Lymphatic system. I have various red light tools that I play with. Okay. And they're especially helpful during long winters because I am not getting outside like I do in the summer. Let's just be honest. I'm not outside. I eat outside in the summer. I'm outside in my garden. Okay. When it gets really cold, I am bundled up. All you can see is my face, and I'm outside walking my dogs for, 20 minutes, half an hour. So I'm definitely like a summer baby. But these red light devices, they help mimic the healing infrared rays of natural sunlight, and they support skin and mood and mitochondrial health. And like I said, right time, right place. Use them more in the winter when you're not getting that light from outside, or maybe you need to start pulsing it in the summer. I don't know where you are on your light routine. If you just go outside and get some light without sunglasses, that could be your first little step. So I really hope today that um, showed you that sun is not the enemy. Okay, it's your original charger. All right, I'm not even going to get into all the other stuff. I save stuff for my midlife reboot, and those who I have personal conversations with. And I've just been thinking about, and I don't know, maybe you can let me know if it's worth it or not. But if you want to be on an insider group where you get to hear some of my deeper thoughts that I don't necessarily always want to make public on this platform. But just know that sun is not your enemy. And while blue light is not evil either, too much of it at the wrong time is like giving your body the wrong instructions over and over again. And look up what's going on with blue light if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Think of your body like a sunflower, everybody. It thrives when it knows when to rise, when to rest, and when to bloom, and when to face the sun, right? And then close up. And just again, tap into your inner wisdom, and stop listening to fear mongering. And no, I don't want you to think that my blue light is fear mongering. I want you to, like, if they had given us the facts, I think I would feel better, but they did not. They just said it was energy efficient. Nobody ever talked about the health consequences of all of this blue light. Think about our kids going back and they're sitting under this blue light. They're staring at screens. Then they go home and they play video games or whatever. I don't know if that's your children or not, or maybe that's you. You go to work, you come home, you look at your screen, then you look at television, and you're in a bright light. Like, I don't know. You have to figure out your own light routine. Okay. So this week I invite you to do one thing and just wake up and walk into some good old sunshine, and don't look at your phone first thing in the morning. Look at the light, the real one up in the sky, because your body remembers what nature forgot, right? Your body remembers what nature forgot. And so it's intelligent and it moves with the rhythms of the season, everybody. If this episode sparks something for you, please share it with a fellow midlife sister, mother, daughter, friend who's been feeling a little tired, foggy, or frustrated, and she just may need a little sunshine in her life. And if you're not on my email list, please email me and just put, can I please have your light thing? And I will send it to you. And thank you for listening to Menopause Made Easy each week. I love having you be here. I love sharing this information. I love planting seeds. And I release episodes every week to help support your health journey with real talk, practical tips, and a whole lot of love. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And if it's in you to leave a comment, that would be wonderful. And I will see you in the next episode.